Welcome to Focus on Family. I'm Cathy McCarthy, and I'm very excited to announce that tonight we will begin our 4-part series on creating the life you love. My guest is Kim Kasparian, who is a success genie as well as a business strategist and life coach. She will guide us on our journey to creating a more abundant and successful life. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm very excited to have you because I'm really interested in finding out what people like myself, men and women who work, we have our careers, we have our kids, we have our home life, personal life, career. How do we manage to be successful? And can you even define what success is?
Okay. Well, when our definition of success is that it's personal and everyone has their own meaning of it. So our mission is to help you define your personal meaning and then give you the tools to actually live that every day. So I think where people kind of fall off the track or get lost is that they don't have their own personal definition of success. They either borrow it from somebody else, or they have, depending on the profession that you're in or the education that you have invested in, you tend to adopt their meaning of success, which is fine, but sometimes people realize too late what they're told and what they feel are two different things. So, for example, many of us can relate to, your parents always wanted to be a lawyer, or your sister was a doctor, so you went into the same profession too. And you did great, and you aced all your exams, and you're actually a successful doctor. But if you really ask yourself what makes you happy, you wanted to be a singer, or you're an accountant that really wanted to be a veterinarian. So you pursued a path and you successfully completed that path, but was it in your authentic self or desire to do? Many times we go, I don't know. So
there's a difference between having a living, earning a living, and being happy at
pursuing a career versus pursuing a passion. And some people get confused. Well, I wanted to be a singer, but they can't carry a tune, or they can sing, but they're not Beyonce. So yes, thank God you didn't quit your day job, because chances of you making the same money. However, if singing is a part of who you are, then you need a space in your life to fulfill that passion off the job. So there's some people like me who actually get paid to do what they love to do. And then there's other people who work for a living and do great at what they do, but it fuels and gives them the ability to pursue their passion on their own time. Okay. So either way is fine. The problem is when people stop pursuing their passions because of their job, because of their kids, because of their responsibilities, because. That's where we start to find ourselves feeling unhappy, feeling unfulfilled, and even though our pedigree and our accomplishments say we're successful, inside we're not experiencing that success.
Like going through the motions of life, but not really living and enjoying life.
Exactly. Providing, being responsible, but not really enjoying the journey.
Right. Okay, that all makes sense. So where would we begin?
First, in my experience, we always go back to the feeling. When you desire to create something new, or you want to take stock or assess where you are, you need to go back to a time when, for some people, it's like really small. It could be a time back in college, or you might not even be able to remember a time. But allow yourself to drift back to a time where you thought you could do anything, anything was possible, and you just had fun. Okay. Just fun being you. That's the place to start, because for many of us, including myself, things get in the way, life starts to happen, and you get you can't remember. I know there was a time in my life, I'm like, I did this, a product of my product, so I said, when was the last time you had fun? I couldn't even remember the year. I didn't remember ever having fun. That's how far off the path. So you let yourself find that place. And even if you're making it up, just go there, and you'll find that you connect to a feeling. Everybody feels something different.
So almost like, when you hear a song on the radio, and
it transports you back to that.
Right, to that time, and you have that feeling like, I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing, who
I was with, what was or wasn't happening.
Right.
Yes, so it's finding, friends of mine call it their happy place. You've got to first you've got to find it, or define it to find it, but sometimes to define it, you have to find it.
Right.
So it's a great way of remembering it. And what you'll notice is even though nothing's changed, the dog's still chewing your shoes and the kids are still doing what they're doing and the bills are still on your desk, you seem to feel different. Mm-hmm. You seem to feel more open and like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was fun. So I call it creating a space.
Okay.
So once you can create that space.
Like a mental space.
First it's a feeling. I always say, and I'm a very cerebral person and my mind is very vivid and can get me places that, all the places we go. Success is a feeling. So let me just say that, success is a feeling. When we start thinking it's a series of to-dos or something has to happen before we can feel, you know you're off the success train. Okay? So most educated, successful people that come to me for the first time saying, Kim, I think I need to work with you or I need some help, I'll say, what's the problem? And they'll go, well, you know, I just have the common things. I have more to-dos than I have day. I don't have enough time. The reasons I said, why aren't you living the life you love? Well, time is an issue, money is an issue. I don't know what I want anymore. I've lost what I love to do. So the first thing is we go find that. And most people think there has to be a series of steps and I have to hit the lottery, I have to make X amount of money, my kids have to be grown, my kids need to be smaller, something my husband, my wife needs to be different.
Right, always the excuse.
Yeah, well, I call excuses are really obstacles that haven't been addressed. You know, if an obstacle sits long enough, it festers, and then it becomes an excuse. So what I like to do is listen to what people call excuses, downgrade them to obstacles, and obstacles are really just circumstances you don't have a strategy for.
Okay.
So by the time we go through that process, they're like, oh, it's just circumstances, and I'm like, yes, the good news is everyone has them. So then it becomes a lighter thing. It becomes like, oh, circumstances aren't so bad, and mine are okay. Absolutely. It is what it is. So then we begin a strategy, and the strategy is not more doing, because people think, oh, I have to add more to my list, or I have to do something to feel a certain way. The recipe for success is feel it, and then do it. Most people want to do it to feel it.
Right.
Success is really simple. You have to experience it first. Once you can experience it, then and only then can you live it. So I'll give you an example. Think about somebody you know, in your eyes, totally successful. They have all the external status of success. They seem to be doing what everyone thinks they should be doing. But you know them, so they might confide. They're not exactly happy. You know, they start talking about their life and they have their disappointments and things like that. You're thinking, why? Like, your life is perfect. For some reason, they are not able to experience the success they've created. And that's a lot of people. You know, if you have a family and you go to work and you have stuff, you're successful.
Right.
The challenge is we're so busy trying to keep our stuff, trying to maintain our stuff, get our kids from here to there everywhere. We find ourselves, people call it stop, I don't have time to smell the roses. The reason why you're here playing this game of life is to experience all this stuff. And you know, people say, I want to grow my business or I want to do this, but my life gets in the way. I gently but firmly tell them, I'm like, okay, here's the hard truth. Life is why you're here. So stop saying it's getting in the way.
Right.
Actually, it's the reverse. All this other stuff, working and trying to keep up or try to work and do, that's actually getting in your way. Your mindset's actually getting in your way of what you came here to play with. So it's a different way of looking at things. And what we do is we help people who are already, you know, active and successful and busy managing businesses and lives and companies, and we have them try on a new mindset. And when you try on the mindset, and we're going to go through that tonight, all of a sudden you're able to be present to all the wonderful things that are already in your life. So 9 times out of 10, most people come to me looking for something they already have. And if on the 1 out of 10 chance that you don't have it, we get you to be present enough to what you do have so we can create the rest.
Okay. So
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. So it's not the stuff that we have, it's our mind and what we feel.
Simple mechanics of success. Our thoughts are the way we think actually create a reality. So if you think your life is good, chances are things circumstances in your life will mirror back to you why your life is so good. If you really don't like your life, or you're bored with your life, or you're having certain emotions about your life, and you tell yourself that life isn't good, chances are you will have a repetitive series of circumstances that only confirm, yep, that's why life is no good.
Okay.
So kind of think of times where you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and from that moment forward, everything seemed to be like a cascade of dominoes.
Right, you set yourself up already.
Right, you're like, oh, I knew it was, I felt it, and now I know it. And the same way, when you wake up really happy and cheery, even though the dog threw up and the kids lost the homework and one of them, missed the bus, and the husband's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, we have dinner guests coming at 5 o'clock, you feel like, oh, that's all right, I've got it all covered. So a simple way to remember this is the life law of focus. What you focus on, you get, okay? And where focus goes, energy flows.
Okay.
So life is going to happen whether you're ready for it or not. Whether you label it good or bad, it just is. So if it just is, and you can't control it, the only thing you can control is how you show up to it.
So it's your mindset and your attitude
that
make the difference.
And the first thing we teach students is to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. And most people get that confused. Gratitude is the act of giving thanks. Most people ask me, Kim, what are you asking me to be a Pollyanna? Like, everything's great. No, right. Gratitude is not great. Gratitude is finding the blessing in the bombshell, finding the silver lining in the cloud.
Right.
So some days I'm grateful for that the day is over. It's 5 o'clock. And I don't have to talk to anybody. Some days I'm grateful that I didn't kill my husband. He's still walking around. Some days I'm just grateful because what a beautiful sunset. Some days I'm grateful that I had the best day at work. I just love my clients. Some days I'm just grateful that I got through the day. So when you practice gratitude, you're acknowledging that you have, not good or bad, you just have. And what you have can be expanded. So when you give thanks, most people worry because they don't have enough, or they don't have something.
Or they worry about the what ifs.
The what ifs.
Yeah.
So when you acknowledge what you're grateful for, you're giving thanks, you're confirming that you have enough, and that you can get more. So that, if I had to tell somebody brand new, Kim, what's one thing I can do to get this thing called mindset going? Every day in a journal, write down 5 things you're grateful for. And people go, well, my kids, I said, well, then they usually have 5 things that repeat. What about your kids today? What did they do today to make you really go, I'm so lucky? What did your husband or wife do specifically today to make you go, I'm just really blessed to have this? When the day goes wonky, what specifically are you grateful you got through? And in that way, you build your self-esteem, you train your focus to go towards what you desire rather than what you worry about.
Right.
And life becomes a little more fun.
Okay, that's really good advice. So what would you suggest we start with after we practice the gratitude, we have that journal that we write down every day, then what would be the next step?
The easiest step is answer this question. If you're walking on the beach and you trip over, something in the sand, and you lift it up and you rub the bottle or you rub this container, and a genie came out of the bottle and said, hello, I'm your genie. What do you want? What do you desire? And you knew whatever you asked for, you got specifically and literally. The genie really can't read between the lines and can only go by your words. What would you ask for? Answer that question, and that's where you begin.
What if you ask for another 1,000 more wishes?
Well, that's kind of close. That's a cool thing to wish for, because then you always have a new possibility. Try what I find, if people are asked the question, what do you want directly, they tend to ask for the thing they think will get them what they actually really desire.
So like money.
Money's a great one.
Right.
Oh, if I had $1 for every client that said, Kim, if I just make more money, I'll be happy, I'd be rich. And what they find out really quickly, because the money's the easiest thing for us to manifest, and we teach our clients very quickly, and they quickly realize, oh my God, money doesn't make me happy.
Right.
It amplifies whatever I have, but more importantly, it amplifies the feeling of lack that they came in with.
Because they want more, because they could get more.
Well, no, what they find is that they get the money, but that hole or that feeling of insecurity is still there. It's similar to the person who was overweight most of their life and they lose like 100 pounds and they're expecting somehow when the pounds went away that they'd be transformed into a new person.
Right.
And they still look in the mirror, and even though they have a great new body, they still see the fat little kid.
Right.
Okay, so externally it changed, but nothing inside changed. And what they really desire is for the inside to change, but they focused on the external. So money's a great thing. They think money's going to solve their problems, and I say no, money can help you to arrive to your problems in more comfort, but with more money becomes more responsibility, becomes different set of challenges. Right. So what I find, because before I use this metaphor, people would just go on and be very wordy and professional, and I call it fa 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 la la la, you know.
I like that.
Yeah, fa fa, yeah, love it, you know. And to me, if anybody watches the Peanut characters, you know, when they're in the classroom and you ask the teacher and she sounds wah 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 wah, and what and the kids all want wah wah. Okay. So that's what it sounds like to the universe and the energy that created you. And they tend to tell me all the things that have to happen, and I'm like, okay. And you'll do that. Your listeners will do that too. Then you ask yourself, okay, great. If you got that. You got more money, you got the man of your dreams, woman of your dreams, you got that great job, you got the vacation. What would that give you? And they'll go, oh, let me think about that. And they might say peace of mind, relief, fun, you know, freedom. Security. Right. And security really is a stepping stone to peace of mind. So I'm like, great. Why would you be open to having that right now? And they're like, sure. So I have them just do an exercise with me that actually makes them feel that way while they're sitting with me. And I'll go, do you feel that? And they're like, yeah. How does it feel? Great. Okay. You get to keep it. It's free. And they realize, and they open their eyes, and I'm like, did it cost you anything? No. You feel that. You know you feel more free. You feel like you're having fun. Yeah. I said, has anything changed in your life? No. But you feel different, don't you? So when they're in that state, I just asked them, okay, close your eyes and be in whatever feeling you want, exhilarated, fun, happy. And I said, look at your life through that mind, through the basically goggles. You know, I always call feelings are filters. Look at your life through those filters and tell me what you see and tell me everything that you have that brings you that feeling. 5 minutes ago, they couldn't tell me one thing great about their life. Once they change the filter, they're able to pick out 5, 6, 10 different things. I'm like, great, so you have it, you just really want to expand it and spend more time enjoying it. They're like, yeah, okay, we can do that.
Okay.
So that's the start.
Okay. Now what about people who have a lot of problems? They have money problems, marriage problems, health problems, and all these different problems.
Okay.
How would you get them to create that feeling and sustain that feeling?
Oh, good question. Basically, it starts with a willingness. I always say proudly, and my clients know this, I'm very transparent. They know everything about what's going on in my life, previous, present. I'm a person that had really, and I say this with all humor but seriousness, I have more issues than tissues. I have more drama in my life than a soap opera. My life could be a reality show. My family puts the word fun in dysfunctional. I have more to-dos than I have day. And, you know, you can't see it, but I have injuries due to a car accident that leave me in pain most of the day. So I understand challenges, and I love my life, and I love my husband, but, you know, some days it's just more than I can handle. But at the end of the day, or at the bottom, I have gratitude in my heart, and I look at every day as an opportunity to have fun.
Okay.
So I think when people have marriage problems, life problems, money problems, career problems, health problems, sometimes they just drew the short straw. You know, sometimes it just is what it is. But usually when people are being burdened by that, because you've met people who have more issues than you could ever imagine, and they seem to be happy.
Right.
And then you have people who seem to have everything and they're miserable.
Right.
What's the difference? It's their mindset, it's their attitude, and it's the way they show up to their world.
Right.
So if your life is raining cats and dogs and it's not a fun feeling, you need to come be present to the 4 truths of life.
Okay.
Because I've been there. I've had all that happen at once, and it's overwhelming, and it's disappointing. And what the danger in that is when it gets to that level, it's not the event itself, whether it be a relationship struggling or money, it's the feeling that you can't have, that you'll never have, that something's wrong. I think that gets under everyone's skin.
Right.
And if they knew or trusted it's just an event
Right.
that's actually setting them up for what they really were born to do, and it's like a preparation, even though it still stinks,
Right.
they would come at it in a different way. Like I had a client who came to me in his 50s, and he was unhappy in his marriage, was unhappy in his job, was injured in a car accident, and he goes, Kim, I have great kids, I live in a great house, but I'm just nothing, I have no passion. And everything's blah. And I'm like, okay, and he had some things going on. And I just got him to focus on, okay, if this wasn't happening, how would you want to feel? And he started with that, but he's like, Kim, I'm just blocked. I said, okay. I said, who are you? Never mind you and your name, but I said, when you think of yourself, how do you see yourself? And I said, get crazy, and I told him my story. I said, who I'm really and who people see me as, 2 different things. And he goes, I'm a warrior. He goes, in my core, I'm a warrior. And I go, what do warriors do? Because they defend, they fight. I said, okay. I said, when the warrior meets the enemy or meets a challenge, what do? They said they prepare and they study themselves. I said, okay. So if we look at all these situations in your life that all stink, I said, if you saw it as an opportunity, I said, do warriors have to go through training? He goes, heck yeah. I said, is it grueling sometimes? He goes, yeah, it's being warrior training, your boundaries are tested and you're forced to step up and push yourself beyond where you think you can go. I said, okay, so let's think of your life as warrior training, that all of these circumstances that stink, I'd like to use another word, but we're in public television. You can all fill it, you could fill that in. Yeah. That was training for you to be a better warrior, to be a stronger warrior, for you to take on more. He was like, his whole body changes. I like that. I said, okay, so these limitations that you're looking at limitations, they're just training. And he was like, I can work with that. So we started reframing his circumstances that really stunk into stepping stones.
Okay.
So, and it's not easy.
And do you break it down into manageable pieces so it's not overwhelming?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But I think the main thing that's important for people to understand is that if you feel like you're on the hamster wheel, that you're always rushing to the next to do,
right.
You're not playing the game of life.
Right.
You're being a human doing, and you were born a human being. And I think if you can just be present to that first, things in your life, just by that, you're going, oh, I resemble that remark.
So the first truth of life, you'd say, is mindset.
Well, no, there's 4 truths. There's many truths. There's many life laws.
Okay.
These are 4 that I've kind of geniatized, that put my own
Okay.
spin on them. Life law number 1, success is your birthright.
Okay.
Most people do not know that. Most people are scared out of their minds, struggling, sacrificing, robbing Peter to pay Paul, just in the hope that they'll one day feel what it's like to be successful. You were born successful. And you running around trying to get from everywhere, do everything for everybody, or just keep up with the Joneses, or just try to make the ends meet, okay, is a symptom of your disconnect with that truth.
Okay.
When you feel like everything you do is like pushing the rock uphill, or that I call my favorite saying is pushing a rope, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your job, that's a signal that you've gotten off the success train.
Okay.
Okay, so that's your symptom. And most people, especially in our Western American culture, are taught to chase after success. We're chasing the money, we're chasing success, we're working 60, 80, 100 hours a week at work, just in the hope that we get recognized and get promoted.
Right, the status. I mean, a lot of people crave the attention, the status, to make themselves feel good. It's external. It's not always internal.
Or if you live in the Northeast, it's expensive to live here. So it's not even, yes, status is a part of it.
With the Joneses.
Or, you know, if you're an attorney, let's say, and you want to make partner, if you're not clocking 78 hours a week, you're just not considered partner material.
Right.
Medical students. What we do to medical students, they're sleep deprived. They're up 36 hours at a time, and we expect them to function.
Right.
You know, college, we stay up all night studying, and then we work 10 hours, 12 hours a day. You know, some people don't take lunch breaks. They work through their lunch. They leave work. They go run home to taxi the kids.
So our culture.
Our culture. Back in the day, we used to hang out in the backyard and play in the yard. Now kids, they're so scheduled, they don't have any time to just, and so this is our culture's definition of success. You know, you work hard, do you enjoy your house? No, you're never there.
Right.
Except, you know, except the week you're off on vacation. So some people are doing that and enjoying it. Many people are not. We have an epidemic of obesity. We have more people than not on medical pharmaceutical drugs for anxiety, depression, high blood pressure. Why? Because we're out of balance with the truth that success is our birthright. If we all believed or knew or connected to that truth, if success is something we are, and everything we could ever desire was available to us, what is there to want?
Right.
What is there to struggle for?
Right.
If you knew that success was your birthright, what would you be doing that you're not currently doing? What would you stop doing that you're currently doing if you really believed and took seriously that success is your birthright?
Well, we'll end on that because that is wonderful advice. Success is our birthright. And I'm really looking forward to our next show and continuing our series. I want to thank you so much, Kim, for being here with me today. And I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me tonight on Focus on Family. I hope you are as ready as I am to start your journey to success and abundance. Join me next week for part 2 of our series on creating the life you love. I'm Cathy McCarthy. Until next time, live well.